Thanks very much for having me. I'm about to tell you basically why all the phishing simulations you do are trash and why your security awareness programs are probably not great either. I work in security awareness and security culture, which is like the weird niche in a niche that nobody really likes in security and outside of security, unless I do it, in which case people love it. So yes, this talk is on telling people not to click links is a really terrible idea. You can find me on Twitter, LinkedIn, Mastodon, just there. If anyone really cares, come chat to me later. So, what am I going to talk to you about? What is wrong with clicking links? What are we actually doing wrong as security professionals, security awareness professionals, general people yelling at other people? And what even is security? What are we here for when it comes to end users? What behaviour do we really want regards to phishing? Because it's not clicking links. And what metrics are actually useful? Because click rate metrics are marketing metrics, and unless anyone is running a newsletter here, you really shouldn't be looking at them. So, clicking links. I don't know if anyone recently has discovered that there is the whole concept of blaming end users for stuff. It's been around for like 20, 30 years since the concept of security. But for the last 15 years, clicking a link hasn't actually been a thing that leads to an actionable exploit. Just clicking a link all by itself doesn't do anything. The actual bit is the bit that comes afterwards. You know, the people doing the credential harvesting, adding in their login, or somebody clicking download on the something, or somebody hitting, oh, I need to update my software, or doing the malicious attachments. The actual clicking of the link bit isn't a problem. In fact, we actually tell people to click links and to share their documentation as links and to share their files with their colleagues as links, because the cloud is now a thing. And we say, it's really important to keep control of versions and to make sure that access controls are on point. We have to always share stuff as links instead of attaching them to documents and sending them to anyone, because we lose control. So whenever you're sending something to anybody, please share it as a OneDrive link, or share it as a Gmail G Drive link, please. Stop not sending things as links. And then when people send you the link, you click on the link and you open it and you do your work, right? So why are we telling people for security and privacy and just auditing purposes to share everything as a link? And then on the other hand going, don't click links, it's bad. Can't possibly do that. Which leads to cognitive dissonance in, everyone who works in security, but also the end users. So there's a security architecture problem where if this thing that hasn't been exploited for 10, 15 years is suddenly exploited and it destroys your entire network, there's an architecture problem there, not an end user problem. There should be enough things in place that if some random attack does come from clicking a link or a phishing email, that there's enough steps in place. And if that isn't in place, we can't blame the end users for that. But the real big issue here is telling people to share things as links and then not click on links. It means that you're making people unable to do their job and being confused, and people are already confused about security. We'll talk about vanity metrics. It's my favourite little buzzword. Vanity metrics are those metrics that are really, really easy to manipulate. They don't really tell you anything at all, and that's where click rate comes in. Like I said, if you work in marketing and you have a newsletter, click-through rate, really important, because it tells you how engaging you're being, whether your clickbaity titles are clickbaity enough. Everywhere else, not great. I mean, telling somebody, I wrote a really good clickbaity thing and a bunch of people fell for it. Well done you, you've just upset and disappointed lots of people and made them hate you. What fabulous metrics. It rules into this thing called Goodhart's Law as well, which is a fun thing where the concept of a metric becoming a target means that the metric and the measure itself ceases to be a useful metric, because you can manipulate it and stuff. So when we come to click rate metrics, the more clickbaity you make a thing, the more people will click. That doesn't really tell you anything other than that you're good at writing clickbait. It doesn't tell you anything about how protected people are against phishing, how likely they are to fall for a phish. It just means that whoever's making your phishing simulations is good at writing clickbaity BuzzFeed titles. We all love those, don't we? And the metrics aren't actionable. What use is saying somebody clicked a link? How is that useful to us? We want them to click links in their day job because we want all of our files to be shared as links in order for the access controls and everything. So great, we want people to be clicking links, great, but we're telling people not to click links. So we've got metrics on clicking links, not clicking links. It's useless. It's not telling us if people are doing the bad things when it comes to phishing, which is giving up their credentials or downloading the malicious software, pressing all the buttons we don't want them to do, because that comes after the clicking of the link. The click rate stops at how many people click the link. And it's completely useless. We can't do anything with it. Also, tricking people is bad. This is the only industry where we're like, yes, I tricked people, we win. You don't win. There's this thing called ethics. And there's this weird boundary, and I work with a lot of red team people on this, where is the boundary between testing security and unethically tricking people into failing? Because what a lot of the phishing simulations are is setting people up for failure. There is no way that they are going to pass, and people are doing that on purpose. And I'm sure many people here have failed at something, whether it's a test from school or getting into something, supplying talks for conferences and not getting in. No one feels great about that. And how bad would it be if you tried to do the thing, do the test, do the exam, get that certification, and not only do you not get it, but they say, haha, it wasn't really a thing anyway. You know? Not great. The ethics there are dodgy, right? Setting people up for failure makes people fail. Expecting people to succeed, having set them up for failure, is really, really stupid. I come from a behavioural science and training background. You want to set people up for success. Setting people up for failure is unethical. It's just a thing to think about. I've managed to convince quite a few red team people. It's great over the years. And also, when you fail, you get negative emotions. Particularly with phishing, people feel a lot of shame and a lot of guilt because they think they have destroyed the company. Because everyone is telling them that they are going to destroy the company if they click a link. You know, so not only are we saying share stuff as links and use the links in your day-to-day business, also don't click the links, and if you do click a link, you're destroying everything. We can't put that on end users. It's not ethical for us to say a security failure is an end user failure. You know, we don't get in a car, have a car crash, and the airbags fail to explode and go, well, that was obviously your fault as the driver. You know, that's a manufacturing fault from the manufacturer of the car that the airbags didn't go off. And there's this weird thing in security where we love blaming the end user, and I think it's because it's easier to do that than to say, actually, that was a security architecture failure. We should have had some tools in place, maybe there was a bug and it wasn't really working, and using the excuse that I'm a one-man band and we don't have budget does not give you the leeway to blame your end users. You just have to say, really sorry, we don't have the budget, there's not enough of us. That's a security as a concept failure, as an architecture failure. It's not an end user. We can't just shunt all of the blame onto people who have no expertise in that area. Because what are we here for as security? Security here to help people, to keep people secure and safe, to keep organizations secure and safe, to keep data secure and safe, information security. We're here as a support system and a protection system. We're not here to blame people. We're not here to yell at people for asking for help. We're not here to trick people into failing, you know. We are here to help people be more secure, to be better, to be more secure. And it's an ongoing, ever increasingly difficult fight that we have. Training at the point of failure as well. I don't know if anyone has ever failed an exam or a test or anything, even if it's just like one of those weekly math quizzes that you got given when you were like 8. But when you fail something, you feel really bad, and you get annoyed at yourself or upset or whatever. It's a really bad time, and it's been proven in a load of science and research. Training at the point of failure is a terrible idea. People aren't receptive for it, people don't like it, and people don't learn at the point of failure. What people need at the point of failure is reassurance and support and say, it's okay, next time you'll do better. Next time you'll pass that exam. Next time you'll spot the fish and nothing bad's going to happen. It's fine. We want to train people at a point in their life where they're feeling good about things. They're more receptive to being trained. And when they fail, we go, it's okay, don't worry. It's fine. You're good. Nothing bad has happened. Especially because in the vast majority of cases, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but if you can get people reporting stuff, they're actually part of the solution. So even if they've failed, they're actually helping you fix it. Because it's really important that we have trust from our end users as a security team. Over the last 20, 30 years, a lot of people hate the concept of the word security, and the semiotics, which is like the study of signs when applied to the word security. If you do that in your end users, they tend to not like it. They think it gets in the way, it's difficult, they yell at you, we don't really like them, they live in a little cave somewhere and we don't want to be anywhere near them, that's a bit scary. don't like them. People don't know a lot about technology, people don't know a lot about security, and they feel that it penalizes them. And the way traditional phishing simulations are set up, that horrible trippy, tracky, how hard can we make it for people to guess, set up for failure, penalizes people. There are companies where they have a 3 strikes rule, where if you fail a phishing simulation 3 times, they get fired. And in America, you can get fired and you have 2 weeks' notice, or you can be fired at will that day. That is a huge burden to be putting on someone if you're setting them up to fail. You're giving them no opportunity to spot that, and you're just going, yes, I got 50% people clicking on my phishing sim, I'm amazing. You might have got somebody fired. That might ruin their entire life, People don't necessarily think about that, and that reduces the trust in the security teams from the end users. And trust is really, really important, because without trust, you undermine not only the security team, but the whole concept of security in your organization. People stop coming to you for help. People start working around you. People stop telling you if stuff's broken. And people stop thinking that you're there to help them at all, and that everything that they report to you, they're going to get told off, so they'd rather not report anything at all. Which means that over time, your security gets even worse, because you don't know what all the problems are. You don't know that there's a development team over there doing a bunch of stuff that really needs security controls, because they don't want to talk to you. And you're not going to find out until 2 years later when suddenly you see a public repo on the internet. You're like, well, I didn't even know that existed. That's not great. And this leads to something called a negative security culture. And unfortunately for us, most people have a negative security culture because people don't like security. So their view of security is bad. They don't want to be engaged. And phishing simulations that are done in this horrible, punitive, attacky kind of aggressive way really, really don't help improve that. So we're already working really hard to get people involved in security and to be thinking about security and doing security in their daily lives, whilst at the same time yelling at them and telling them they're stupid because they clicked a link that last week we told them to do because we have to share all of your assets digitally with a link, It's this whole mishmash of underlying things that are all reinforced by these very traditional negative security phishing simulations. Which, unfortunately, a lot of the big branded security awareness things, they go with this super punitive training. They yell at people, they tell them off, they just tell them what not to do. I don't know if any of you have ever learned a new skill, but I'm sure you were told how to do the thing, as opposed to don't do this. Because if someone just tells you what not to do, it's really hard to get good at actually doing the right bit. You're like, I won't do that, or that, or that, I don't know what I should be doing, but I'm just not going to do it. I will just not bother. There's loads of fabulous stories on a bunch of subreddits, on articles all over the internet, where people have had horrible, horrible experiences with nasty phishing simulations that have promised bonuses, or have said, here's an update to our health insurance policy, you have to do it within the next week or you're fired kind of thing in America, where people then report everything as phishers. People stop opening their emails full stop. And there was one, I think, with one of the train companies that said there was like a bonus thing that they actually had to pay the bonus to everybody because it was so aggressive, People are getting so excited in our little security houses going, I'm really great at writing clickbait, fantastic. Instead of thinking, how are we affecting the end users? How are we improving security? Who is the security for? It's not for us in security. It's for the end users. It's for the companies. It's for the information those companies hold. It's for the customers that we work with as sort of like supply chain companies. The security isn't for us to feel good about. It's for everybody else to feel safe and trusting that there's a team of people or one person or like a whole global group of people who are there to help them, not coming around to trick them and yell at them because they will just stop doing it. So what behaviour do we really want? And I'm going to throw this out at you and you'll get like 5 seconds to think because I like talking. What is it that we are testing people for when we do phishing simulations?
Reporting.
Yeah, reporting. Yeah. We want the behaviour as reporting, right? We want the report behaviour. I set you up for success, right? I don't set people up for failure. See, and everyone's now going, oh my God, did she do that on purpose? Yes, I did. I'm good at this. If we give them a phishing simulation, what is the point of the simulation? What are we trying to get people to do? What is the behaviour that we want? What we want is for people to report things they think are phishing. We want to tell people, anything that you think is a phish, please report it to us and you will be rewarded for reporting. We want them to be doing this constantly. Every time they see something mildly suspicious, report it, until there's a new thing that they go, oh, I don't know, I'm going to report it to security and they're going to help. That is the behavior that we want. So why aren't we using our phishing simulations to help people practice that behavior? Say, hi, I'm a phishing simulation. Can you remember what to do when you see something that's a fish? And also, here's a cool phishing here's a fish that someone reported last month. And you can usually get some really cool fishes that people have reported. And people are really nosy, and they're going to go, ooh, that's cool. Or, oh, I saw that, but I didn't report it. Maybe if I report one that I see, my fish could be there next month, next quarter, however regularly you do your simulations. And you can put in every so often like a real phishing simulation, in inverted commas, that's super duper easy and so easy to spot that everyone is going to say, that is a fish. Because what we want is people to go, that is a fish, and report. Because it's that next step, that behaviour to take an action that's so difficult for people. Especially in a big company, ask someone else to report it. What if nobody reports it? What if everybody thinks someone else reports it? No one reports it. We want...
You need to reward reporting.
You do reward reporting. Wait for the next slide. Security are then seen as a support. We're helping people get better at spotting fishes. We're getting active participation because people are engaging and sending us fishes. They're responding to our simulations in a positive way because we're setting them up for success. And that means they're more likely to spot a fish and report the fish rather than spot a fish and do nothing. And we get engagement. The more people are engaged, the more they're likely to report things that aren't even fishes. They're going to say, here's a security thing that I saw. Someone's put a post-it note of the door code next to the door. Should that be there? And then you can go, that shouldn't be there. That's fantastic. Thanks so much for telling us. They're going to go and spread it around themselves and push into this more positive security culture. And this is all things that come from little tiny things that people aren't thinking about, other than people like me, that all comes back to things like phishing simulations, which is the main contact people have with their security teams. But the metrics you say, my senior boards want metrics. They want vanity metrics because everybody knows phishing simulations come with click rates. And no one's actually sat there and gone, click rates are marketing metrics, completely useless. We can give them good metrics. We can give them report rates. I love report rates because you can get report rates at different stages. You can get report rates before any activity has been taken with the email. You can get report rates after someone's clicked through. You can get report rates after someone's potentially given up their credentials and then reported. All of those are great. Less good that they've done the credential or that they've downloaded the software or that they've opened and run the attachment. But they've still reported, which means we can do something about it. And this is where it gets a little bit difficult for security people. Like, they shouldn't have done it in the first place. But they're going to do it. And wouldn't you rather they tell you after they've done it? So you can go and reset all of their account passwords, boot everybody off. You can run a big scan on their machines, Good times. Report rates are fantastic because you can track them over time, you can track them by department, and you can come up with rewarding systems. Your report rates after attachment and credentials is really important because, especially with the uptick in credential phishing, having people report after a credential phish has been successful is really, really effective. You can do account remediation really quickly as a security team. It's not too difficult, it's relatively easy, and people feel like they are part of the solution. They go, oh my god, I made a mistake, but if I tell the security team, they're going to help me and they're going to fix it and nothing bad's going to happen. That's what you want. What you don't want is going, oh, they yelled at me last time. It's not going to say anything. And then 2 weeks later, you find that there's been someone in your system for 2 weeks and this person just hasn't bothered to tell you, It's a cognitive loading that you have to put on people so that the quickest way through is tell security. This happen, tell security. They're not going to yell at me. Really important. Especially, to talk about macros for a minute. People in finance run all their Excel spreadsheets with macros because otherwise they don't work. You can't tell them not to run macros. Again, it's like the link clicking. You have to understand what people do as part of their job. And we can track accuracy. This is one of my favourite things with phishing reporting that goes with simulations as well as external, random, real-life phishes, is tracking accuracy. So you can set up accuracy tracker. Someone's reported 10 phishes this month, 8 of them were real. Someone's reported 10 phishes, none of them were real. They were all safe. So you've got a leaderboard at the top of the top 10 people who've got the highest accuracy. And you can make this public in your company so that people can see who's really good at it. And then look at the bottom. Because the bottom doesn't necessarily mean that people are bad at spotting phishes. Sure, there might be a few people that when you look at the emails, you go, yeah, they're very not fishy. Is there something happening with them? Do they need a little bit of extra support with some smaller workshop training that's not just computer training, it's an actual instructor there so they can ask their questions? Are those emails that this person at the bottom of the leaderboard is doing, they've done 10 emails this month they've reported as a phish, and when you look at them, they all look like phishing emails, but they're all from safe senders. Is there a vendor that sends really rubbish emails? I'm sure a bunch of you work with vendors who send emails that look like phishing. Or you might have a colleague who's not great at sending emails and they look like phishing. And this person at the bottom is reporting them because they look like phishing. You know, and you're just saying, oh no, that is a real email. But actually, they shouldn't be sending you emails that look like phishing. Vendor, can you stop sending emails that look like this? Can you make them look different? So those people at the bottom can actually be really helpful because they are spotting phishes, they just happen to not be real phishes. You know, so you can look at the top and the bottom. And accuracy changes over time as well, which is another metric that you can gather. So have we got better ideas for how we can actually do phishing simulations, phishing training? Yes, we do. We have so many better ideas. Teach people how to report. How many of you have got systems in place for people to report? And how many of you got attached things that tell people how to actually report stuff? Yeah, that's like not even 1% of people in here. That was 4 hands, right? How are people supposed to know how to do a thing if you don't tell them how to do the thing? And they go, they're not reporting stuff because I couldn't be bothered to tell them how to do it. How dare they not report stuff? I mean, I haven't put anything up on how you do it or where you go, but hey, they should be reporting it anyway. We don't put somebody in a car and expect them to be able to drive without having lessons on how to drive. Can't go, no, they couldn't start the car, what an idiot. You go, yeah, you haven't taught them how to do that. That's on you. So teach people how to report. Make reporting really low friction. Make it as few steps as possible. Have on your central intranet site, have a button for reporting a security incident. Have another button for reporting a phish. Have a button in your email client that says report phish. Okay? So that's step 1. Make it easy to find. Step 2, create onboarding videos for all of your new staff, and every year have people, if they want it, have a little reminder saying, we've got this available if you need it. But everyone that gets onboarded, you say, here's how you report stuff to security in our organisation. Because every organisation is different. Huge organisations, way different to tiny organisations. Tiny organisation, it might be email Greg in security and he'll fix it for you. That's how you report. Big organisation might be a ServiceNow ticket or like some random button somewhere. Some people have 3 different buttons in their browser, in their email client because they've got so many tools. Which one do I use? You know? And some of them you can't get off because they're like weirdly embedded and Microsoft are evil with the whole, you can't change how it looks. So teach people how to do the reporting. If you say, this is how you report, this is what you should be reporting, fantastic. It's somewhere really easy to find, so if people go, I really need to report this, but I don't know how, they can go to this central area and go, that's how I do it. There's the button. You'll probably see an uptick in reporting of stuff. And your CISO might go, oh my God, and you go, no, this is great. Because those incidents have always been happening, people just haven't been telling us about them. So the more we know, the more we can put in place so that over time they'll go back down. But they'll actually stop happening as opposed to people just not reporting them. We can do leaderboards. I love leaderboards. People love leaderboards. People are weirdly competitive, even if they pretend not to be. If you give people points or you just match how much people are doing, you can track reporting stats. You can track how many people spot phishing simulations. You can do it on an individual basis. You can do it on a team basis. You can do it on like a business silo, directorate, division, chunk, however you split your organisation. So you can end up pitting entire departments against each other, saying that this one, they've found like 80% of the phishes that we've sent out this year, they've all reported them. And then someone else is like, well, I think we can do better than them because we have a feud with marketing over here in finance. We're amazing. We're going to do better. And it doesn't have to just be on phishing simulations. This can be on literally anything that's security-related behaviour that you want to do. You know, if you're running random workshops or talks, you can run leaderboards of how many people are coming to those. You know, most companies these days really love professional development for people. So why not make some of your security talks professional development for people? People love learning new stuff. People really, really, really love finding out how people actually break things. The amount of times that I've shown people a little video screen grab of somebody cracking passwords, and I have like a little polite words of the ROTU text that runs through for people, so there's no nasty words in it. And people sit there and they go, oh my God, that was amazing. It's so fast. And you just press go and it went. because they think it's so difficult to do. A lot of the workshops that I run are on like how to do open source intelligence gathering, how to find where pictures are taken. This is why Angus is here. Angus goes to all the conferences. Angus goes, where's Angus? And people send me, goes, I think he was at Basingstoke Station. You're like, yeah, well done, here's a badge. And they're like, I got a badge, I found a cow. Fantastic. He's a tiny crochet cow, in case anyone has not seen him. He's part of a whole mascot collection. We have a little penguin with a chicken hat that fishes the chickens. It's fantastic. But you can lead aboard all sorts of stuff. How many people are doing the training? How many people are doing the extra training? Is there a prize at the end? I do make a fish workshops, so I do a bit of extra training, a little bit more in detail. They're about 45 minutes long to an hour, depending on how excited people get with the fish, on how phishing actually works, the psychology behind it. Urgency, heightened emotional state. Anything that does that, probably a fish, reported. If it's additionally unexpected from a safe sender, then probably might also be a fish. And that works for all social engineering. Rather than going, this is the fish that we've been seeing a lot. Look at this fish. Don't fall for this fish. All people will be looking for is that fish, and they won't see all the other fish. You know, if you teach them how to see all fish, way better. And then, at the end of the workshop, and this works virtually, and it works amazingly well in person, like people get very competitive, you make a fish. You pick somebody, usually it's Angus, or like one of the chickens or something, and you say, what kind of fish would work for this person? What are we going to steal? We're going to steal money, we're going to steal credentials, information, what are we going to go for? And now make a fish. And then people present their fish, and we vote on which one we think is the best. And you can do this as an annual competition as well, where people send into the security team the best fish that they or their team can come up with, and you pick the best 10, and then you get the whole company to vote on which ones they think are the best. And people are learning how to spot fishes because they know how to make fishes. We're not giving them fish kits or anything. They're not actually fishing people. They're just coming up with ideas. And people get genuinely thrilled if you say that idea you came up with, that's an actual campaign that's out there in the world live right now. So well done, you're thinking like a real hacker. People love putting little hacker hats on because they think it's so difficult and scary. And if you make it a little bit more personable, people can practice and they can do it and they have real good fun. Works amazingly in person if you split people up into groups, because the people get really judgy about other people's systems. Like, I don't think he would fall for that. I think he would fall for this. And it's like, well, you present your fish in a minute. Chill. Rewards. Positive reinforcement is scientifically proven to be the best way of training people. It works for dogs, works for horses, it works for cats, it works for people, because we're all animals. Rewards are amazing. And rewards come in a variety of different things. We have low-value rewards, we have medium-value rewards, and we have high-value rewards. High-value are really, really rare. Medium, uncommon. Low-value, common. Things like your stickers, your digital badges. Then you go up into things like swag. And then, for example, where I am, you can win a tiny Angus. I will crochet you a tiny Angus if you are one of the people that has done all of the additional bonus training for the year. You can be in with a chance of winning a tiny Angus. There's only one of those available every year, but people want a tiny Angus because he's very cute. But also, it's rare. But people also really like stickers. I mean, there's a sticker thing out there for everyone. We love stickers. People love stickers. So digital badges, stickers, certificates, fantastic. You can also do things like little shout-outs. People love recognition, whether that's private recognition of an email from the CISO saying you've made a real big difference this year, thank you, or if it's on an all-staff announcement newsletter saying these people have made a real big difference to security this year, this month, this quarter. Fantastic. There's a lot of ways you can reward people that are really low effort on your part, that are really high impact on their part. That means that not only are they more likely to engage with security, to have a positive view of security, but they're way, way more likely to actually do the security behavior that you want them to do. So, we've made our cake now. We want the report rate, not the click rate. We don't care about clicking. We need to stop telling people not to click stuff because we want them to click stuff, because that's how they do their jobs. Because they need to do their jobs. We can't make security get in the way of people's jobs. People won't do it. We want to integrate security into their jobs so that it's easy for them to do, and they are going to do it. We need to stop with the cognitive dissonance. Stop thinking that how we want things to be is the only way they can be, and start thinking, how do people work? How do people think? How can we work with them to create a better way of thinking, as opposed to telling people not to do things that they need to do, like don't run macros. I work as an accountant. I need macros for my spreadsheet to work. Don't click links. Well, I spend all my day sending stuff to other people, and in order to control who has access to that, I send it as a link. We need to stop and think about how we're telling people to do things. And reward people for doing great stuff. Make sure when your security team responds to things or the auto-reply from your phish is fantastic, great job, we really appreciate you reporting this or telling us or letting us know, making sure that we're not accidentally yelling at people, because the way people are very worried when they report stuff because they think they've done something really bad, you're there to help them say, thanks, yeah, it's bad, but you've done a great job telling us and we're going to help you through it. This is really, really important. Reward people, do not punish them, and please stop telling people not to click on links. Thank you.